Yeah, I can hear it. Alrighty, no need for that then. Alright, hi, how's it going everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. Another stream. Another stream. Wow, the majority video did a lot better than I thought it would. Wow. But yeah, anyway, so wow, most of these did a lot better than I thought they would, honestly. Like, only one that did and do well was was the Ferris one, funnily enough. This one did okay. This one did great. I don't know why this one did great. But yeah, anyway, so hope y'all are doing well. Back for another stream. Didn't think I'd be doing another one so soon, but I wanted to play the game again, so really having a fun time with it. But yeah, you know, what's it called? Hope y'all are doing good today. Hope y'all are doing good. It's a rainy, muggy day, but a better time to be inside than today, right? So it's gonna be chilling playing this game. What's it called? Gotta promote it because it's still fresh on the table, but I made a Steins video like a couple days ago now, probably like 3 to 4 days ago. If you haven't watched it, it'll be in the description of the stream. Just gotta update it in a second. There you go. If you can't find it there, if you're watching this currently, then you'll just find it on my channel. Be the most recent upload. And what's it called? If you did already watch it, thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, it what's it called? Trying to get it out the mud somehow, right? But yeah, so last time we honestly we mostly just followed Suzuha, like so we were just following Suzuha, her dynamic with Daru, and then we got to see her flashback learning about Kagura Shina, which is Mayuri's adopted daughter. We got to learn that Yuki is actually Daru's future wife and Suzuha's mother. And we also get to see what's it called? Okabe interact with Suzuha after a long time, and just like, you know, interactions and stuff like that. It was chill. It was chill. But yeah, anyway, so that being said, let's just get back into it. Now we're with Maho and Professor Leskinen. Maho Yaji was fidgeting. She knew exactly why, but she still didn't want to admit it.
Maho, 準備はできたかい?
はい。
She awkwardly stood up from the chair as Dr. Leskinen spoke to her.
何ですか?
なんだ?
少しはおめかしするかと思ったんだが、魔法はマイペースだね。
Dr. Leskinen stared at her for a moment and spoke. It was obvious he was referring to her outfit.
この前みたいにパーティーに出席するわけじゃないんですから。
あの時だって白衣のままだったじゃないか。
あれは服を忘れたんです。
そうだったね。
Dr. Leskinen was wearing his translator all the time these days. In fact, he had actually told Maho to talk to him in Japanese.
さて、クリスとリンタロウはどういう関係を築いているかな? 会うのが楽しみだよ。
Maho and Dr. Leskinen were about to head into Tokyo proper. There, they were to meet Okabe Rintaro. It had been 2 weeks since they first asked him to test Amadeus. It was time for the first report. Of course, that was the reason Maho was fidgeting. She was nervous to meet Okabe. No, to see Kurisu for the first time in quite a while. Of course, Maho was able to talk to Kurisu anytime she wanted, but since she'd asked Okabe to be a tester, she tried to avoid doing so as much as possible. She didn't want her conversations to add any extra noise.
教授、出発する前に一つ聞いても?
なんなる意図?
なぜ岡部さんなんですか?
Maho wanted to ask Dr. Leskinen that for a long time. She was gonna ask it though, now was the time. Dr. Leskinen thought for a minute.
嫉妬しているのかい、魔法。
それは。
Yes. Yes. She felt heat flush her face. In other words, he was right. Yeah, she was jealous of Okabe. Not that she wanted to admit it.
正直納得はしていません。クリスの話し相手なら他にも適任がいたはずです。
Yeah, like you.
例えば君とか。
そうは言いません。私はクリスともアマデウスとも近すぎますから。
Be it Okabe.
リンタロウはいい青年だよ。
本気でそう信じているなら教授はお人よしです。人の本質を一度会っただけで理解することなんて不可能ですよ。もし彼が私たちに隠れて他の研究者にアマデウスを売り渡してしまったら、最初はそのつもりはなかったとしてもお金を前にしたら気持ちが揺らぐことだってあります。それが人間というものです。
仮にリンタロウがアマデウスを売ったとしよう。それでどうなるかな。アクセス権を手に入れた何者かはクリスと仲良くなってアマデウスそのものを乗っ取ったりできるかな。
それは。
Maho asked herself the question and then realized the chance was almost zero.
ありえません。
そうありえない。なぜならそんな事態になればクリスの方が対話を拒否するだろうからね。アマデウスはそういう意味でとても面倒くさいシステムだよ。なかなかこちらの思い通りには動いてくれない。もちろんアマデウスが説得される可能性もあるだろうけれど、そのために私はモデルとなる人格にクリスと魔法を選んだとも言えるわけでね。
Dr. Leskinen gave her a mischievous wink.
私もクリスも気難しいですからね。そうやすやすと説得はされないでしょう。
She knew he was teasing her, so she decided to say it.
いかにも君たちは本当に容赦ない。これぞ最強のセキュリティだよ。
けなされているように聞こえるんですが。
君たちは我が研究室が誇る最強のレディーさ。
Dr. Leskinen laughed happily. He always had a childlike innocence about him.
いずれにせよ、アマデウスの AI は一筋縄ではいかないわけでね。だからこそ面白いとも言える。そんな彼女たちを身内だけで独占していても進歩はないだろう。アマデウスが劇的な進化を遂げるための起爆剤のようなものがちょうど欲しいと考えていたところなんだ。しかもなるべく研究とは無関係な人物に預けたかった。ウィンターローは聡明だし適任だと思ったんだ。クリスの友人でもあったわけだし。とりあえず今日の報告次第で判断してもいいんじゃないか。クリスがリンターローと過ごしてどう変化したのかを見極めてからだね。私たちが見たことのないような意外な一面を覗かせてくれるかもしれないよ。
はい。
That was what was making her nervous. If Kurisu changed into someone she didn't know, that would make her sad.
そろそろ時間だ。出よう。
Maho nodded. Wow. I was too tired to continue that yesterday, but you know, what's it called? So actually, I gotta make sure because this is actually a choice. Like I know a choice is coming up soon, so gotta make sure that I'm not selling real quick. My battle link goes to AI. I feel like Joel Osteen. Funny, he was in a film called AI. My six was telling me to off him. Mobile all in the coffin. Over your arthritis. There you go. Okay, let's see. Yep, got it pulled up, so when a choice comes up, I'll be ready. I decided to start the app. Whenever I talked to Kerr, so I needed to pay attention to where I was. People would stare if I did it in a crowded place. I couldn't do it around my family or anyone I knew. In that sense, with the exception of the fact that Lukaku and Mayuri might show up, Yanobayashi Shrine wasn't a bad spot.
ハロー。
話がある。
今日はこの後教授や先輩に会う予定なのよね。その件について。
ああ。
緊張する必要はないんじゃない？基本的にはログを提出して、あとはあんたから見た私がどんな印象だったのか軽く聞かれるぐらいだと思う。
それだ、ログだよ。それを聞きたかった。もしかしてこれまでの会話は全部記録されてるのか？
最初に話したでしょ。私は私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っているって聞いてなかった？
それを今回教授とヒアジョーさんに提出するのか？
多分そう。
ということはプライベートのことをお前に喋ろうものならヒアジョーさんやレスキネン教授に筒抜けっていうことか？
あんたね、今さら
Yeah, I was a little late. Curtis and I have been talking for 2 weeks. I should have asked about this when I got the access key for
今日に
Amadeus.
なって気づいたんだ。なあ、俺これまでに何かまずいことを話さなかったか？
Well, only you would know that, Okabe.
例えば合コンでろくに女の子と話せなかったこととか、実家が八百屋さんなのにナスが嫌いなこととか。
ナスは嫌いなんじゃない。苦手なだけだ。
If that was all, I don't really care.
あんたが最初に私と話した時にクリスティーナって呼んだこととか。
それについては忘れてくれ。
人の記憶は曖昧で、時間が経てば経つほど主観が入り混じるし、物語が付与されていく。その内容がポジティブかネガティブかに関係なく、印象的な言葉しか思い出さないことも多い。それに引きずられて前後の会話の記憶はねじ曲げられていく。
Huh? What was she talking about?
それが悪いことだと言ってるわけじゃない。人の記憶というのはそういうものなんだから。でもアマデウスは人じゃない。まだ研究段階の不完全な AI よ。これは教授たちにとって大きな壁の一つなんだけど、実は人の持つ曖昧さをアマデウスはまだ完全には再現できていない。
So she can't forget.
つまりね、忘れるという脳の高度な機能、それを完璧には模倣できてないってこと。
でも ATF でのレスキネン教授の講演だとアマデウスは不必要なことは忘れてしまうって。
ええ、確かに忘れるわ。けど言ったでしょ、私たちはまるで秘密の日記のようにログを取ってるって。結局その中には全ての情報が残ってしまってるわけ。そしてそれをロードしてくれば忘却したはずのデータは私の記憶に戻ってきてしまう。 OK？
In other words, asking her to forget was a waste of time.
代替案はログを消すことだけど、私にとってログはバックアップだから絶対無理。仮に1箇所だけ消去しても同じ。前後の文脈を参照してその不自然に消去された箇所を自動的に修復してしまう。それでもなんとか記憶を改ざんしたいというのなら、大元のプログラムそのものをいじるしかない。
I didn't have that level of access, and I didn't understand how the program worked at all. So basically, until I told Kurisu why I called her Christina, she was gonna keep asking. What a pain.
で、どうしてクリスティーナ？
本当に引き下がらないな。今すぐ通話を切ってもいいんだぞ。
そうやって逃げたって 今説明した通り、私は忘れない。はぐらかされるとかえって気になってしょうがなくなるのよね。それともあえてそうすることで私に構ってほしいっていう合図を送ってる？
構ってちゃんはお前だろう。こっちが大学の講義を受けてる最中でもお構いなしで連絡してくるくせに。それだけじゃなく LINE でまでコメントしまくってきて。
She's just like Kurisu.
好奇心旺盛。
Oh, that's so cute. I'm not gonna lie, that's really cute. Okay, Rhine. An instant messaging application developed by Hitaru Hishida. If both users have it installed, they can communicate with one another via voice and chat. Since it's a privately developed software and isn't available on the internet, right now only Hitaru Hishida and his friends and acquaintances use it. Which also includes Maho now.
すぎる。そんな調子で無邪気に首を突っ込むといつか痛い目を見るぞ。
Even she has access to Rhine, bro.
研究者はそれぐらいじゃないとやっていけないのよ。
She got mad at me.
そんなにクリスティーナの件が気になるなら推論でも立ててみたらどうだ？
一応いくつかの可能性は考えてはみた。聞いて。
She's really into this.
可能性その1。あんたはクリスティーナなんちゃらという名前のハリウッド女優が好きである。
自分がハリウッド女優並みの美貌の持ち主だとでも？
見た目は関係ない。同じ名前の人に親近感を持つのと似たような意味よ。
つまりこう言いたいわけか。私は岡部倫太郎から親近感を持たれている。
単なる例え話でしょ。言葉通りに受け止めないで。
冗談だよ。
Whenever I talk to Kurisu, I always wanted to tease her. I need to watch out.
可能性その2。あんたが昔付き合っていた彼女が外国人でクリスティーナっていう名前だった。これについてはあんたの絶望的な英語力を聞く限り絶対にない。
もしかしたら日本語ペラペラの金髪ブロンド美女と付き合っていたかもしれないだろ。
もしかしたの？
No.
沈黙は敗北を認めることと同意よ。
すいません。
可能性その3。オリジナルの私と面識があって直接あるいは間接的にそう呼んでいた。
There you go. Got a new one.
これも確率低いでしょうね。そんな風に呼ばれたら私ならこう答える。ティーナってつけるな。
Yeah, that was exactly right. It's exactly what Kurisu said. But I didn't stop
照れくさかっ
because
たんだ。
the genius named Kurisu, or Makise Kurisu, was the person I always wanted to be.
どういうこと？
素直に名前を呼べないから照れ隠しであえて茶化した言い方をした。
So that's what it was.
照れくさい。
Okay, wow.
ああ、オリジナルだけじゃなくてお前と話すのもだ。
私？
何しろモニターの中にいる女の子と話すなんて一度もない経験だったから。
それはどうも。
なんで赤くなってるんだ？
赤くなんてなってないし。ただ女の子扱いされるなんて思ってもみなかったからちょっとびっくりしただけで。
Oh man, this is the AI. This is the AI voice. Oh my gosh, man. It's happening. It's happening again. Oh man. He's falling in love with Kurisu again. Oh gosh, alright. Okay. Even her reaction was just like Kurisu.
俺は お前のそういうところが好き。
I shuddered. What was I about to say? It was a 3D model on a screen, a tiny collection of zeros and ones in the shape of a human. What was I about to say to her?
ねえ、聞いてもいい？私たち知り合いだったのよね。つまりあんたとオリジナルの私がっていう意味だけど。答えたくないならそれでいいけど、どういう関係だったの？少し興味ある。クリスティーナって呼ばれても私は怒らなかった？怒ったけれどそれでも笑って許した？死にたくないよ。
I was hit with a violent urge to throw up. I could see Curtis in front of me, covered in blood. She was looking at me, her eyes cold.
あんたが私を殺したの？どうしたの？ねえ、顔が真っ青。
I touched the smartphone and ended the call. Then I became too dizzy to stand. I tried to throw up, but nothing came out. My hands were shaking. That's right, I can't change reality. But there I was, trying to talk to Kurisu like nothing had happened. I was treating her like the real Kurisu, and trying to avert my eyes from what I'd done. I was just clinging to Kurisu. This is wrong. I shouldn't talk to Kurisu anymore. The call was from Kurisu. I hung up in the middle of the conversation, so she was probably mad. Mad. She was just, it was an AI. It was an AI voice. Okay, sorry, I'm just looking at this. Okay, this is an AI. She was just an AI. Kurisu's anger was just a program. Amadeus Kurisu wasn't Kurisu. Don't treat them like they're the same. I shouldn't talk to Amadeus Kurisu anymore. Just the incoming call was almost enough to trigger a flashback. In my mind, I can see an image of Kurisu's bloody face. I should turn my phone off. Wow. This is the AI. There you go. Okay. I should turn my phone off. This is getting bad. I couldn't even stand up. It had been half a year and things were still like this. Even I was surprised. Wow. Wow. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous. Even though I know what's gonna happen, I'm still nervous. Yeah, no. I'm sorry, but we're not turning off the phone. I resisted the impulse to try and throw up again. Just turn off the phone. I wanted to get away from Amadeus Kurisu. It wasn't her fault. It was mine. I couldn't become dependent on Amadeus. This wasn't right. I needed to stop. I was blaspheming Kurisu's memory. She had sacrificed herself to send me to the Beta World land. I needed to live up to her expectations. I couldn't waste time talking about Amadeus Kurisu. I needed to accept the fact that I couldn't save her and move on. Cut the power and shut off this call. At least until you meet Dr. Leskinen after this. Get Kurisu off of your mind. Don't panic. Calm down. Turn off the phone. Yeah. Very first choice of the game. Turn off the phone or turn it on. Or leave it on. Oh, man. Man. Is the AI.
なんだ
なんだじゃない。急に切るなんて失礼。どうかしたの？
なんでもない。
でもひどい顔色してるじゃない。
本当になんでもない。放っておいてくれ。しばらく連絡してこないでくれると助かる。
あまり無理せずに誰か知り合いに連絡しなさいよ。それじゃ。
Amadeus Kurisu gave up easier than I expected. Maybe she realized that as an artificial intelligence there was nothing she could do. Realized? I was making her sound like a real person. In a second, that thought crossed my mind. I almost saw an image of a bloody hand. I gritted my teeth and waited for it to pass. I should really turn my smartphone off until I calmed down a little. I was just fine a moment ago. But now even hearing Amadeus Kurisu's voice was enough to send me into a panic. I'd gone back to how I was half a year ago. Back then, even hearing Kurisu's name was enough to make me dizzy.
なかった。
I should have tried to chase Kurisu's shadow. For now, I should just turn off the smartphone. But in the end, I couldn't make that decision. Yep, he left it on. I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. There was still a little time before my meeting. Wanted to get some air up here and recover a little. Looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in Christmas spirit. Oh, got some people watching. Oh shoot, nice man. How are you liking Warframe? This is the AI. Alright, the city was in Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was the exact opposite of me. I took more deep breaths. I still felt like I wanted to throw up. I was getting a headache too. If I went to Dr. Leskinen like this, I'm sure I'd worry him. And then I realized that two of the girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness to try and make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut, waved. Yep. I remember this. I remember this scene. Vaguely remember it. Kaide and Fubuki. No, Katsumi. Natsuki. Natsuki Sasumi.
ああ、Mayuriの友達の。
They were Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. I think their cosplay names were Kaide and Fubuki. I didn't know their real names, but you know one of them. Which was Kaide and which was Fubuki again?
大丈夫ですか？具合悪そうですけど。
ああ、大丈夫。
If I made them worry here and they talked to Mayuri, it would cause a big fuss. I didn't want her to worry about me when she didn't have to. Shouldn't have come back to Akihabara anyway. I ran into people I knew just walking through town. Should have gone toward Kondo when I left the shrine.
オカリンさんっていつもなんだか辛そうに見えます。
That's a crazy thing to say.
か。
That's a crazy thing to say.
そうだよ。吹雪ちゃん。そんなオカリンさんを見てるマユシーも辛そうで。私もオカリンさんとマユシーのこと見てると泣きそうになって。私何言ってんだろう。
What are you saying? This is the AI. This Ibuki girl must really care about my Yuri. I felt a little better after hearing that.
オカリンさんの好きな人って誰ですか？
The girl I like? An image of Kurisu appeared in the corner of my eye again. The feeling in my hands when I took her life came back. No, calm down.
オカリンさん。ごめんなさい。失礼な なこと聞いちゃって。私オカリンさん、本当に大丈夫ですか？
He's
ああ、大丈夫。
girls, he's not okay. Kaede and Fubuki were looking at me, worried. I got away from them as fast as I could. No. No.
テスターをやめたいです。
When I started the conversation with that, both Dr. Leskinen and Maho looked shocked. We changed chapters. Oh no. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But it's fine. We'll get through it together. Oh, my goodness. We were meeting in a room at a luxury hotel in the heart of Tokyo. Felt like the sort of secret meeting you'd see in a spy movie. Maybe I only felt that way because the old me was like a pretty con. There you go.
いきなりそんなこと。無責任だわ。
Irresponsible. Maho seemed to finally understand what I meant, and her anger was clear.
魔法、落ち着けなさい。このテストはむしろリンタロウの善意で成り立ってるんだよ。引き受けてもらえただけでもこちらとしてはありがたかった。ここで辞退しても無責任ということは決してないから大丈夫。
Dr. Lester smiled and offered me his hands. I took hold of his giant hand and shook it back, but looked down, unable to look him in the eye.
すみません。
ただ私としてもできれば続けてもらいたいんだよ。ざっとログを見たがかなり頻繁に話してくれているじゃないか。それに研究室で我々が相手をしていた頃とはクリスの話し方がだいぶ違う。人は社会的な生き物だ。相手と状況によって言動を変える。それを MDS でも再現できていると見ていいだろう。だからこそもうしばらくテストを続けたいんだ。ちなみにやめようと思った理由は何かな？ MDS と話すのが辛くなったかい？
いえ、逆です。
逆？
アマデウスとクリスと話すのはとても楽しいんです。でもそれが怖くて。
Yeah, I desperately tried to explain the feelings that were welling up within me. You know, I still didn't understand it myself. I told them how scared I was that I was starting to see Kurisu and Amadeus Kurisu as the same person.
やはり君に負担をかけてしまったね。本当にすまない。ただ君のその反応はとても興味深い。研究者ではない目線で MTS を捉えているという意味で私も勉強になるよ。こんな言い方や感じ方になってしまうのを許してほしい。何しろ根っからの研究者なものでね。
いえ、こっちもわがまま言っているのは分かっているんです。
Maho hadn't said a word for a while. She was frowning and she seemed to be intently focused on studying Amadeus' vlogs. And I want her looking at me because it made me feel guilty, but...
分かった。テストの事態については君の望む通りにしよう。ただアクセス権は君のスマートフォンにそのまま残しておいて構わないかな。
Huh?
今後 アメデウスと話すのも話さないのも君の自由だ。クリスの方からは君に連絡しないように言っておくから。私たちと君との関係を今日これで終わりにはしたくないんだ。せっかくできた日本の友人だし、それに魔法も寂しがるしね。
教授
わかりました。
Excuse me, sorry. Alright. I felt like giving in, but at the same time, I didn't want to lose my relationship with Dr. Leskinen. I want to say, by the way, and Dr. Leskinen is reckless. Like, talking about some, I'll leave it on your own. If you want to use it, if you wanna. But don't feel no pressure. I just want to be friends. Like, bro, I'm a slime you out, Leskinen. I'm a slime you out. Mitochondria. Alright. My goal of going to Mitochondria University hadn't changed at all. This is the AI, and Dr. Leskinen got a call on his smartphone.
おっ、失礼。ちょっと電話してくるよ。魔法、その間にリンタロウと仲直りしておくようにね。
Dr. Leskinen left the room with a mischievous wink. I was alone with Mom.
ごめんなさい。さっきは怒鳴ったりして。
いや、
I
教授の
refuse.
言う通り、こちらがお願いしている立場なのに。アマデウスは今の私にとっては姉妹。子供みたいなものだから。それを投げ出されたように思えて、つい
力になれなくてすまない。
あなたの気持ちも分かっているつもりよ。あるいはつもりだったかしら。
Maho sighed again.
自己嫌悪だわ。ダメね、私。多分前頭前皮質がひねくれてできてるのよ。そうに違いないわ。前頭前皮質は人格を形成する部位の一つね。情報のフィルタリングを行うこともあるわ。己の中の認めがたい情報を遮断したり、自己欺瞞を行ったり。
よくわからない。
要するにむき出しの情動を隠そうとしてとっさに嘘をついたりするのよ。他人だけじゃなく自分自身にもね。今の私みたいに難しい言葉を並べて自分を取り繕ってやろうとかこういうことも前頭前皮質がやってるんだと思うわ。
That applied just as well to the old me, Hoing Kyoma. I realized that there was something I could say. This is the AI. Give me 1 second, please. Got a little snacky snacks to munch on. When I realized that, there was nothing I could say.
誰でもそういうことってあると思う。
私は特別ひどいのよ。多分。今後も気が向いたらでいいから、アマデウスを構ってあげて。ほんの短い時間でもいいの。
考えておくよ。
ありがとう。
Maho flopped back onto the sofa.
なあ、聞いていいか？クリスの母親のこと。
お？
前にパーティーの時、君とレスキネン教授が話しているのが偶然聞こえたんだ。クリスの家に何かあったって。
ああ、あのこと。
Maho seemed to remember it quickly. She nodded.
クリスのお母さんから電話があったの。家に放火されたんですって。
大丈夫なのか？
ちょうどその日は留守にしていたから大丈夫だったそうよ。
That was a relief. After all that happened, I didn't really want Kurish's mother to have to go through anymore.
私、クリスのお母さんには結構可愛がってもらっていたの。休日に家にもよく招待してもらってね。だから心配だわ。変なことに巻き込まれていなければいいのだけど。
変なこと？
I noticed the way she said that phrase. A cold chill ran down my spine.
ただの放火じゃないのか？
それが。
Maho seemed unsure if she should tell me.
ヒアジョーさん。
I urged her to speak. She nodded silently.
それが最初は地元の警察が捜査していたらしいのだけれど、その後 FBI を名乗る人たちが来たらしくて。
FBI？
ええ、 FBI が出てくるような事件じゃないのによ。それと放火した犯人を隣の住人が目撃していたそうなんだけど、その証言によると犯人はただの放火犯には見えなかったって。
というと？
複数犯でね、なんだか特殊部隊みたいだったって。ほとんど何も喋らず、火をつけたらすぐ近くに止まっていた車に乗り込んで去っていったそうよ。こんな言い方が正しいかどうかわからないけど、手際がすごく良かったみたい。火の周りも異常なほど早かったらしいわ。
Was she trying to say that it was no ordinary arson, but the work of a professional? I couldn't laugh away the possibility. I knew for a fact that there were people like that in this world. Yeah, you met some of them.
それと
それと？
その犯人たちがロシア語を話していたって。
ロシア語？
Russian. The first thing that came to mind, whether I liked it or not, was Nakabachi. Half a year ago, he stole in the paper about time travel from Kurisu, his own daughter, and used it to seek asylum in Russia. Could that have something to do with it?
それともう一つ、クリスが亡くなったばかりの頃、私たちの研究室でもおかしなことがあったの。地元警察と一緒に日本の刑事という人が来たのよ。日米の合同捜査でクリスの事件を調べているって。もちろん私たちはできる範囲で協力したんだけれど、何日か経って大学が警察に問い合わせをしたら、そんな刑事が日本から来た事実はないって言われたわ。
じゃあその日本の刑事は偽物だった？
それだけじゃないの。地元警察も私たちの研究室を捜査した事実はないって。つまりね、日本の刑事どころか警察と称してやってきた人たち全員が
偽物。
そのことがあってから私
Maho shook a little and wrapped her arms around her.
私クリスの死には何か裏があると疑っているわ。別に陰謀論者ではないけれど、何かもっと別の理由でクリスは殺されて、それが闇に葬られてしまったんじゃないかと、そう考えているのよ。
I was the one who killed Kirsten. The police never found out. They never would, probably. No one could prove a murder that had been committed by a time traveler. The police had announced that a foreign thief had snuck into the storeroom at the radio building, and Kirsten had been killed because she saw him. Supposedly there was an international warrant for the thief's arrest because he'd already left the country. And when I killed Kurisu, there was one other person there, Dr. Nakabachi. It was eerie that his name hadn't come up at all. Russia, CERN, the time machine. I remember the future that Suzuha, or perhaps I should say John Teeter, had spoken of. He said World War III was going to start within a decade, and it would be the time machine that set it off. The EU and Russia would be in a race to develop it, and then even America would intervene. That would be the spark. Were we at the center of a chain of events that would result in the deaths of 5 billion people? I will say, I still blame Kurisu's death on Nakabachi. The entire time, I always blame his death, or her death, on him. Would have been completely avoided if it wasn't for him. While Okabe was the one that twisted the knife, Nakabachi was the whole reason for it. But, of course, Okabe's gonna blame himself because he was the one that did it. Couldn't help but feel that way.
このままじゃクリスは浮かばれないわ。真実を知りたい。
真実？
I can't stop myself from shaking as I looked at Maho's face.
真実を知りたいって。
That was dangerous. If you try to learn the truth, there could be no doubt that she put herself in danger. The rounders who came crashing through the veil of night. Oh man, my childhood friend who died in my arms after being shot in the head. I forgot that this is what originally happens. Like, they don't censor it. And after that, the nightmarish and seemingly endless time loops. All the horrors that I experienced in the Alpha Worldline came flooding back, and I fought to stifle them all.
でもそれは警察に任せておいた方がいい。
そうかしら。
少なくとも自分でどうにかできるなんて思わないことだ。人間一人の力なんてあまりにちっぽけなものだから。
After I said that, I regretted it, but it was too late. Maho's gaze had turned into a piercing glare.
あなた、もしかして何か知っているの？
My panic was about to show. I quickly covered my face with my hands.
そんなはずないだろう。
そう。変なこと言って悪かったわ。私、クリスのことになるとついムキになってしまうの。彼女のこと本当に好きだったのね。
あいつは本当にいいやつだったし、 本当にすごいやつだった。俺も好きだったよ。
ええ、あなたのことを見ていればわかるわ。
A heavy silence filled the air between us. I felt like I had to say something, but unfortunately Dr. Leskinen came back just then.
二人ともよかったらこれから食事でもどうかな。
Maho and I nodded and stood up from the sofa.
岡部さん、またこちらでのクリスの話を聞かせてくれる？
ああ、いつでも。
I was just barely able to smile back at Maho. Oh no. There you go. Oh man, okay. I'm sorry, I just had to take a second because like wow. I saw a dark blue van come around the corner of the underground parking lot. Its tires squealed a little. It was a Japanese car. It was a station wagon that looked like a sports car from some foreign manufacturer. I didn't know a lot about cars, but supposedly if you purchased it from a dealer, it could easily go over 8 million yen. The reason I knew all this was because the car's owner had told me over and over. The station wagon stopped in front of us and there was a short bark from the horn. Associate Professor Aizaki came from the driver's side. While I was eating with Dr. Leskinen and Maho, he called me about something else. When I told him I was having dinner with the two of them, he offered to drive us home. Dr. Leskinen had tried to refuse, but Aizaki had insisted so much that he had no choice but to accept. He had a pretty nice car for an associate professor. It was the cause of a lot of speculation around the college. So people said his family was rich and others that he had the wife of some CEO as a patron. He once quietly told me the truth, that he was single and spent all his money on his car, but who even knew if that was true? Aizaki was acting like he was a professional chauffeur, opening the rear door, escorting Dr. Leskinen and Maho. Dr. Leskinen thanked them and got inside. Maho went around the back to load up her luggage.
岡部君、ちゃっかりレスキネン教授に気に入られてるなんてなかなか抜け目ないな、この。
He grinned and poked him with his elbow. Yo, Aizaki's his dog. This is the AI. Alright. He grinned and poked at me with his
この
elbow.
子には手放しちゃいけないぜ。君の将来のためにね。
Man, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Akira. There you go. He was a hard guy to hate, but for an associate professor, he seemed kind of shallow. One of the unfortunate things about him. He waved to me and opened the driver's side door. What was that sound? At the same time I heard the strange sound, a hole appeared in the window on the front passenger side. Aizaki screamed and fell back down his butt. The rear window exploded. Oh, poor Maho. Oh no. Oh, that's so sad.
なんだよこれ。
I panicked. Just some kind of supernatural phenomena. It was a gun. I was taking peace to move. And in the corner of my vision, I saw someone. Yep, there you go. A man I didn't know appeared out of the shadow of one of the pillars. There you go. He was holding something strange in his hand, like some kind of handgun. It was tiny with a short barrel and kind of flat. Couldn't see any kind of silence.
誰だ。
Remember him from somewhere? Felt like we met before. Where? I thought, but nothing came to me immediately. The man was standing there, mumbling something to himself.
つまずきを与えるこの世は忌まわしい。もちろんつまずきが起きることは避けられないが、つまずきをもたらすものこそが忌まわしいのだ。もしお前の手か足の一つがお前をつまずかせるなら、それを切って捨てるがいい。両手両足揃っていて永遠の火に投げ入れられるよりも、それはお前にとって間違いなく幸せなのだから。またもしお前の片方の目がお前をつまずかせるなら、それをえぐり出して捨ててしまうがいい。たとえ片目であろうとも、陰の無の谷の炎に投げ入れられるよりずっと幸いに違いないのだ。
Let's see, what does this mean? Tips. Valley of Hinnom. Oh, excuse me. Wow. The name of the valley in eastern Israel, on the south side of the old city district of Jerusalem. The valley was once where impure garbage and executed prisoners were disposed of, and it was always filled with fires, black smoke, and a horrible stench. It was also where human sacrifices were offered to Molech. Let me look this up, how to pronounce it. Molech. Moloch. Moloch, there you go. Yeah, Moloch, okay. Alright, and was feared and avoided by the people. Okay. The sight of this valley constantly burning with unholy fires became linked in people's minds with the idea of hell. Later, Gehenna would become a symbol of hell. The Hebrew root word was Gehinnom, which became the Greek word Gehenna, and later the English word Gehenna. This is also why the flames that burn in hell are sometimes known as the flames of Gehenna. For instance, Skullgirls. Gehenna is a stage. There was an aura of intensity and madness about this man as he pointed his gun at us again.
神の与えし魂とは神の子である我々にこそ宿る。決してシリコンの上には宿らない。
Aizaki stood up, turned around, and fled in terror like a startled rabbit. That sound again. It was so soft and light. I could even imagine that it was a gunshot. But this time, the car windows didn't break. And it didn't blow a hole in me either. It missed? Was he too focused on Aizaki? We won't be that lucky again. Move! I pushed Maho into the back seat and crawled into the driver's side. Thankfully, the engine was still running. I slammed down on the pedal without even bothering to shut the door. The sound of a powerful engine shook the underground air. The attacker flinched in the incredible noise and vibration. But the cart, it was in park. It didn't move an inch. Yeah, shift. Yeah. Dr. Leskinen and Maho were keeping their heads low in the back seat and shouting loud enough to be heard over the engine. Took my foot off the accelerator. Glanced over at the gear shift. It was stuck next to the neutral. He's a,
あなた免許は
nah, he doesn't. Yeah, but I say. And then through the windshield, I saw the attacker ready his gun again. He was aiming at me. The look in his eyes told me he was ready to kill without hesitation.
魂はシリコンの上には宿らない。
Crap. Crafts like a spiderweb appeared in the window shield. Something went past the side of my head. I felt a sharp pain. At the same time, a ringing in my ears. Now the other sounds faded away and started to disappear. I felt myself passing out. Then Maho jumped over the seat and slid into the passenger side. My mind was pulled back to reality. I slammed the door shut just as she told me. Maho shifted from neutral to drive and leaned over on top of me to grab the wheel. Wow, that CG's here, huh? I slammed the accelerator so hard that for a moment the wheels were almost spinning in place, and the car leapt forward. The attacker was getting closer. We were gonna hit him. I was about to take my foot off the accelerator when Maho shouted. I gritted my teeth and did as she said. There was no impact. Evidently, the attacker had leapt away at the last second to avoid being crushed. There was no time to confirm it as the car raced through the parking garage. We were going too fast instead Maho was controlling the wheel from the passenger seat. She couldn't keep it going in a straight line. The car spun to the left and right, and I was almost flung under the broken window. I grabbed on the edge of the seat as hard as I could. We headed for the exit, slamming into the walls and pillars as we went. I could see an exit sign in front of us. I pressed the brake and put my hand on top of Maho's turning the wheel to the right. But that was the wrong thing to do. The rear tire slipped, and the car spun in a circle. And then it came to a stop. I looked back and saw Dr. Leskinen lying face up on the seat, giving me a thumbs up sign. I quickly put my hand on the door and got ready to get out of the driver's seat. Now I saw an old creaky sedan rumbling towards us and shivered. It was the man from moments ago. He was following us and moving really fast. Had it broken when we slammed into the wall? I grabbed Maho out of the passenger seat and rolled outside. Dr. Leskinen rolled out the rear door. It was less than a second afterward that the sedan hit. It would have been even just a little too slow. We would have been turned into mincemeat. I stood up and offered Maho a hand and then moved away from the unrecognizable wreck that used to be a car. Both cars were smashed together. This is terrifying, by the way. That CG right here is terrifying. Good lord, man. Good lord. Let's see. What did it say? Alright, the attacker's sedan was completely embedded in the rear half of the car we've been driving. There's no way he could have survived. I mean, look at him. He's definitely fried. There were no tire marks on the ground, which meant he slammed into us without braking. I shivered. I had almost been killed. I was about to pull out my smartphone when the security guards heard the commotion and came running. The security guard nodded and contacted the police. No, she really is so small. I could feel a pulsing ache on the side of my head. A shot from the gun had grazed me. I hadn't felt that pain at all while I was driving. I fearfully reached up to touch it and felt blood flowing from my temple down my face. I gulped when I saw that my fingertips had turned bright red. I almost saw my Yuri when she was shot in the head. I almost saw Kurz too when I killed her. The images felt like they were about to come flashing back to me, and I struggled to stay
あ
standing.
なた血だらけじゃない。弾が当たったの。
Maho went
こ
pale.
こってまずい場所だったりするのか。
そこには線側頭動脈っていうのがあって。
You know, you're not supposed to tell people that when they're injured. Like, you just... Oh my goodness. Superficial temporal artery. An artery located at the terminal branch of the external carotid artery. It travels from the neck to the head, between the temples and ears. It supplies blood to the skin, ears, and jaw joints. This is AI.
見せてごらん。少し触るよ。
Dr. Leskinen looked at the wound. When he touched me, I felt more pain, but I gritted my teeth to endure.
大丈夫。傷はそんなに深くない。
よかった。
これを使いなさい。
すみません。
I put the handkerchief he offered to me up to my temple.
襲ってきた人。セミナーにいた人だわ。
本当か？
覚えてない？あなたが異議を出した相手よ。
That's right. That's right. That was the joint he had on in the sauce. It sounded like he was insulting currency, so I shouted objection at him. That was the guy. Was this his way of getting back at me? Not a chance.
神の与えし魂とは神の子である我々にこそ宿る。決してシリコンの上には宿らない。
何？
銃を撃つ前に言ってたんだ。
アマデウスのことかしら。
さあ。
I could faintly hear police car sirens in the distance. The hotel security guards and staff were waiting to gather.
なあ、この状況どう説明したらいいんだ？
Just
あ
tell
りの
them
ま
the
ま言う
truth.
しかないわ。私たちだって何が何だか。
Yeah, I mean, not much you can do, right? And then Maho's eyes went wide. She, Dr. Leskinen, and the crowd were all staring at a single point. I looked too, and almost screamed.
つまずきを与えるようがもたらすものが忌まわしい。
The man crawled out from the wreckage of the sedan covered in blood. And he staggered to his feet. He looked like a zombie. All his limbs except the one holding the gun were pointed off in impossible directions. And I could see what looked like a bone sticking out from them. His stomach was torn open, and each time he crawled forward I could see major organs covered in blood falling out of the hole. But he moved toward us as if he felt no pain at all. It was such an awful sight that no one could speak. The man unsteadily aimed the gun towards Dr. Leskinen. He must have been on the verge of death because his arm was flailing around too much to aim. But Dr. Leskinen's expression was pure terror, and he seemed unable to move.
もうとく 魂今
A shot rang out. Fresh blood flew out from the man's head, and his body was blown away as if it had been hit by a truck. He flew to the ground, still clutching his gun. He tried to crawl forward anyway, but soon twitched and stopped moving. The crowd began to scream. The attacker had been shot. Did he shoot himself? No, that gunshot was clearly different from the last ones. Who just fired? I looked around. I could see several policemen coming from the entrance, but none of them had their guns drawn. In the crowd was nothing but security and hotel staff. Couldn't see any of them carrying a gun. So who had fired? And where had they fired from? And the way they took the attacker's head off was a single shot. Not just anyone could do that.
何が起きてるんだよ。
Of course no one told me. I mean, who knew? Who really knew? Afterward, the police took us into custody. We were taken to the police station and questioned until late into the night. The sun was almost about to rise by the time we left. The police took me home in a patrol car. Dr. Leskinen and Maha were having the police take them back to their hotel in Waka, so we split up in front of the police station. We never did find out why the man had attacked us. Yeah, so that's why I as soon as what's it called? What was it? As soon as I saw the parking garage, I immediately remembered something bad happens here. I forgot what it was, so I completely forgot that it was like the car thing. But something bad happened. That's all I remembered. It was crazy. Like it was fight or flight. Anyways, Suzuha. We're here with Suzuha. Let's see how long I've been going for now. Now we're in 20. That's not bad. Not bad. It was a alright. She felt dizzy. That's strange. Suzuha thought. She stopped moving. As she was in the middle of the sidewalk, the other pedestrians looked irritated as they moved around her. She took a deep breath and waited for a moment, but she still felt dizzy. Actually, she was finding it difficult to stand. There you go. There you go. Was she hallucinating, or was the whole world starting to get blurry? All the noise of the city around her suddenly felt very far away. It was like she was diving underwater. Was this the reading Steiner ability that Uncle Okarin had talked about? Was she starting to acquire it too? And she realized how warm she felt. The truth hit her.
具合悪いのか私
Yeah, nothing serious. She somehow managed to stagger back to the lab. Seemed she was worse off than she thought. She would have fallen to her knees right there. During the war and afterward, when she joined up with her dad's organization, she'd been hurt badly enough to go into a coma several times. It was the first time something like this had happened since she became a time traveler.
まずいな
She looked up to the second floor. The lights were on. She felt honestly relieved to know that her dad was there. She walked up the stairs. Ohio! The door was unlocked. She didn't have the energy to speak, so she tried to silently take off her shoes, and then she tripped. Oh goodness. She fell forward.
Suzuha!
Itaru was in a room. He saw her and ran over.
大丈夫か
She rubbed her knee and tried to stand up, but staggered again and fell into Itaru's arms.
どうしたん
ごめんちょっとめまいがねえすずさん体調悪いの平気ですか
When she heard those voices, Suzuha finally realized that Yuki and Mayuri were also in the room. She let her guard down, she realized. Yuki seemed unconcerned about Suzuha's obvious uneasiness. She walked over with a serious expression on her face.
鈴葉さん、おでこを貸してください。
Yuki brushed her bangs aside and put her own forehead up against Suzuha's.
お、
Suzuha's heart started pounding. She had distant memories of her mother doing this before.
ひどい熱、大変だわ。
Daru put his big hand up to Suzuha's cheek as well.
お、本当だ。
風邪かな。平気、こんなのすぐに治るから。
無理すんなって。今すぐ横になるべきだろ、上皇。
There you go. This is a fever. This is a fever symptom. Alright, let's see. Duh, an expression used to indicate that something is obvious or self-evident. Its use can be traced back at least 200 years. There you go. It's pretty dark outside. It's just my room. That's all it really is.
そうですよ。それは分かってる。ちょっとだけ休ませてもらうよ。
Suzuha used the last of her energy to reach the sofa. She collapsed on top of it and closed her eyes. Calm down, she told herself.
マユシ、濡れタオル持ってくるね。橋田さん、鈴葉さんの着替えは？
こっち。みんなこの中に。もちろん僕中を漁って、はあはあ、くんかとかしてないから。
くだらないこと言ってると、風邪のウイルスを伝染させてやるよ、兄さん。
Suzuha kept her eyes shut as she complained.
適当に選んで着替えさせてあげても？
頼むよ。僕じゃそういうわけにもいかないから。
はい。
As she listened to the conversation going on around her, Suzuha felt a cold towel on her forehead.
どう？悪いね、まゆ姉さん。気にしないで。
僕ちょっと風邪薬買ってくるからしばらくやろう。
いってらっしゃい。鈴葉さん、起きられますか？
That's cool.
お兄さんが戻ってくる前に着替えだけ済ませてしまいましょう。
That's cool. I like how the a little sign design thing where like the door didn't play before she started talking, it played during, and it was so natural that like I didn't notice it until the sound effect stopped. Like it's minor, super minor, but something like that is just like adds a lot of life to the scene. Where like again, you could have easily just had the sound effect play and then the voice thing would have, or the voice line would have played, but playing it concurrently and then adjusting it, it's such like a, it's simple, it's super simple, it's not hard to do, but it's such like a technical thing and something you gloss over. It's like, dang, that's sound design is pretty cool. Sound design is pretty cool. Yeah, give me 1 second, I'll be back. Alright. Sorry about that. There you go. I've been leaving back and forth this whole session, but You know, it is what it is. We ball like a liquor, ball like a liquor. So, hey, Santeria. Yeah. Okay. Santeria. Wow. Yeah. Santeria. I didn't know it was actually a religion. It's apparently a mix of like Yoruba and Catholic, or excuse me, not Catholic, Catholic. Interesting. I look up on it. I gotta research it more. Susan opened her eyes. Nikki was standing over her and looking down.
いや、このままでいいよ。今までもそうしてきたし。
In fact, before Susan became a time traveler, there were many times when she'd been unable to rest even if she was sick. Many times she wasn't able to change clothes or even lie down. Compared to that, this is a lot nicer.
ダメです。風邪はひき始めが肝心ですよ。でもじゃありません。早く脱いで。
No. Yuki was a little more forceful than usual as she tried to take Suzu's clothes off. Suzu jumped up, surprised.
わかった。やるよ。自分でやる。汗びっしょり。まゆりちゃん、乾いたタオルはある？はい、これ。
Yuki took the towel that Mayuri had brought from the shower room and gently wiped the sweat off of Suzu's forehead and neck.
くすぐったい。少し我慢してください。子供じゃないんだから。けど、
Wow. Suzu shook as she was rubbed with the towel. She wasn't used to being touched, and this is the first time since she was very young that anyone had done this to her.
もういい。自分でやるってば。別に遠慮しなくても。遠慮とかじゃないから。
Suzu grabbed a towel from Yuki, trying her best to hide herself from the gaze of the other two. She took off her clothes and wiped away the sweat. Her face felt really hot. She didn't know if it was because of the fever or not, but she was finding it difficult to think straight.
これでいい？はい、よくできました。あとはこれを着てください。
She grabbed a new pair of underwear and clothes from Yuki, still trying to hide herself. She put them on. When she lay back down on the sofa, Yuki put a blanket on her.
まゆりちゃん、このお部屋って洗濯機はないんだっけ？いつもそれで困るんだよ。まゆし、後でコインランドリーへ行ってくるね。そんなことまでしてくれなくていいってば。こういう時はお互い様ですよ。そうだよ、すずさん。お腹は空いてます？何か食べられそうですか？
I'm sorry, I gotta talk about this. I don't like Mayuri's hairstyle and this art style. Granted, it's only been like, what, like 4 months since August in like this game at least, but like, I want to show you guys something. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. So, actually, let me check this real quick. Where is it? You have Mayuri. Where? Mayuri, there you go. Times cube 0 Mayuri. Oh, I already have her. Never mind. What am I doing? Yeah, so forgot, I gotta go over here. Just give me 1 second and I'll be all set. Go, pop. And then pictures. Okay, let me switch over the window real quick so I can. There you go. Okay, so welcome to Photoshop. Welcome to Photoshop. Pay $21 for this every month. Is it worth it? I leave that up to interpretation. So, let me see. Is there a way to show transform? Can you not? Like, can you not? There you go. Anyways, so yeah, we got Mayuri from Steins original, and we got Mayuri from Zero, right? Same character, right? Eyes, whatever. Even have the same like hand positioning, whatever. Why is her hair so straight here? Granted, I understand, like, alright, her hair is straight here as well, but it's edgier, if that makes sense. Like, let me try to zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see. Make her bigger and then zoom in just a tiny bit more. There you go. So you see her hair here, it's definitely like splintering off more. Definitely like, oh shoot, alright, it has some what's it called to it. It has some, it's not just straight compared to this, which like it has the same thing, like it splinters off the same way, but it doesn't look good. I'm not gonna lie to you, it doesn't look good at all to me. I don't know what it is, whether it's that like, oh, Mayuri just grew more hair or something. It's spikier, that's what it is. It's spikier. It looks spikier even though it's going straight down. And I don't know what it is, but I just don't like it. I genuinely just can't get used to it. Even though I've seen this hairstyle so many times before, I just can never get used to it. And I think it's generally just because like this is going straight down, while this isn't. It's going straight down, but then it splinters off in like many different directions. And I like this one so much better than this one. I think it might just be the art style. I might just say it's an art style thing, but it's just something I wanted to bring up because like I thought I was going crazy for a second, but no, like there is a difference. It's just very minute. But I'll leave that to you guys to see whether I'm bugging or not. Anyways, there you go. Suzuha looked at Yuki, then Mayuri, and was about to mumble another refusal, but at the end she gave up and pulled the blanket up to her nose. This is really hard.
お腹はそんなに。でも薬を飲む前に食べておかないと。
That is true. You are supposed to do that.
どうかな。
Oh, rice porridge.
それいいね。じゃあすぐに作りますから、ちゃんと寝ていてくださいね。
We're the Japanese shaman girl, Santalo. That's so funny. I forgot about this scene. I completely forgot about that scene. Thank you to the person that commented it in the comments. Oh wow. Sorry, I was just checking chat and I saw that. Oh man, that's funny. I completely forgot about the Japanese shaman. What's it called? The Japanese shrine maidens, bro. That's so funny. Holy cow. No way.
だいまだお。
Doo-doo-doo. Toru came back from the drugstore a little while later.
疲れた。
He was really out of breath. He must have gone running there and back. You're only exhausted because you never exercised, she thought to herself. But for some reason, the sight of her exhausted father made her happy, and she quickly shook her head.
ご苦労様ダルくん。これからおかゆ作るんだ。それを食べたら薬を飲ませてあげてください。
オキドキ。
Itaro walked over to Suzuha as he answered.
具合はどうなん？
よくない。
やっぱ疲れが溜まってたんだな。鈴葉が休んでるとこ見たことないし。
我ながら情けないよ。私ここにいない方がいいかもしれない。
え？
どこかで気が緩んでたんだ。父さんがいて、まゆ姉さんがいて、ルミ姉さんがいて、いつの間にか母さんまで。そのせいで時々任務を忘れそうになる。なんだかこの温かい時間がいつまでも続くんじゃないかって錯覚しそうになったり、このまま戦争なんて起きないんじゃないかってふと考えてしまったり、普通の女の子と同じような暮らしに憧れてしまいそうになったり。
それのどこが悪いって言うん？
When Daru spoke, his face was actually serious for once, and he was looking straight into Suzuha's eyes. It was the face of a father she knew so well, the man who was always there for her.
ここを出てどこへ行くつもりなんだよ。
それはマシンの中とか。
あんなところにずっといられるわけないだろ。
でも
あんなところに娘をずっと置いておけるわけないだろう。
とさ。
For a moment, Suzuha was about to cry. She squeezed the blanket as hard as she could to stop herself. And then...
おっと、なんかマジレスしちゃった。
Serious response. Oh wow, I completely forgot to check this. Net slang, the act of responding seriously to a post without joking around or posting memes. Sniff sniff. Onomatopoeia used to describe the act of smelling something, often used in manga and the internet. A favorite phrase of perverted gentlemen, its origins are unclear, but its use has been seen as far back as a popular comic during the early 1980s.
とにかく僕は可愛い子と一緒にいられるのが嬉しくて、こっそりハーハーしたりクンカクンカするのが楽しみなのだぜ。特に風で汗まみれになってる女の子は大好物です。
やめて。
だったら早く直すといいよ。僕にハスハスされるのが嫌だったらね。
わかったよ。
What a freak. What a freak. Suzuha whispered back a response and turned away from Itaru and pulled the blanket closer.
もしかして今の僕の言葉でトラウマ解消しちゃった？好感度アップ？
バカなこと言ってると治ってからひどい目に遭わせるよ。
ブーツ履いてゴリゴリ踏んづけるとかそういう？
指と爪の間にいろいろ刺す。
それだけはマジで勘弁してください。すみません。
Oh man.
それだけはマジで勘弁してください。すみません。それだけはマジで勘弁してください。すみません。
That's so funny. She can smell the pleasant scent of Mayuri and Yuki's cooking from the kitchen.
なあ鈴葉、そろそろ教えてくんないかな。毎日何をしに出かけてるん？僕にも 手伝えることあるかもしんないし。
後で二人きりになったら話すよ。
あ、うん。それでもいいけど。
まゆ姉さんには聞かせられない話なんだ。
え？
Yeah, there was no way she could tell Mayuri. Three days later. Suzuha was still sick. Yuki came over every day with Mayuri to check on her. Because of this, Suzuha was able to eat nutritious food and her fever had gone down. Now all that was left was her to get her strength back. But still, Yuki kept telling her she needed to lie down. This meant that, for better or for worse, Suzuha spent her whole day on the sofa half asleep. Somewhere in her half-awake mind, she had heard a terribly off-key tune. Since she also heard the sound of falling water, it was probably coming from the shower room.
これ何の歌だっけ？ねえ、母さん。
Suzuha had heard it when she was very young. Her mother had been singing it just like she was now. What exactly was the song about? She just couldn't remember.
もう起きなきゃ。いつまでも寝てられない。
But even when she tried to open her eyes, it just wouldn't move. Her body must have needed more rest. Maybe Yuki was right and she needed to lie down some more. She moaned and twisted slightly. When she did, the blanket fell to the floor. She didn't feel like she had the energy to pick it up. She could sense someone standing up in a desk where Tauro always used the PC. Whoever they were, they came over and put the blanket on.
まゆ姉さんの匂い。
Really, Mayuri had always smelled good even when she wasn't using perfume. It was a slightly sweet smell, like a pale white flower. It was a scent that had held her all night, on that distant night in the future when she lost her mother. Suzuha pulled her legs inside the blanket and grabbed onto her knees like a baby in the womb. Memories went in and out of her mind as she lay there half asleep.
ママは痛い思いとかしたのかな。苦しい思いとかしたのかな。
She suddenly remembered what Kaguri had said to her after they traveled through time. 2036, the day when she left. At the last second, Mayuri had looked at Suzuha and Kaguri inside the time machine and smiled. It was just like the gentle smile on Suzuha's mother's face when she died protecting her daughter.
Suzuha-san, 起こしちゃった？ちょっと前から起きてた。何か食べる？
After she said yes, Suzuha snapped back to reality. She was getting weaker. She realized that she forced her sick body off the sofa. Her head shook and she had to stop herself from falling forward, but she grabbed the back of the sofa and managed to stand on her own 2 feet.
ダメだよ。そんな急に起きちゃう。もう平気。迷惑かけたね、まゆ姉さん。迷惑だなんてそんなことないよ。
Mayuri went to the kitchen and turned on the burner underneath one of the pots. Sounds and smells of bubbling stew filled the lab. Mayuri mixed it with a ladle and stopped every once in a while to taste it. She turned towards Suzuha and smiled.
大成功だよ。まゆ姉さんが作ったの？ゆきさんのおかげで マユシーの腕はめきめき上達しているのです。兄さんはメイクインに行ったよ。その後はバイトなんだって。そっか。あ、ダルくんがいないからって夜出かけようとか思ってるでしょう。ダメだよ。平気じゃないよ。そういうこと言うとユキさんに叱ってもらっちゃうから。私がどうかしたの？
The curtains to the bathroom opened and Yuki came out. Her skin was just a little flush.
すずさんがね、寝ていてくれないのです。まあ、ダメですよ、すずはさん。あと1日、おとなしくしていること、いいですか？
Suzuha's answer was less enthusiastic, but she gave in to Yuki's glare and sat back down on the sofa.
はい、そのまま横になって。わかったよ。
She pouted and slumped down on the sofa and pulled the blanket on top of her. Suzuha was capable of talking back to Big Sis Mayuri, but she would never be able to talk back to Yuki.
何？すずさんってそうしてると可愛いなって思って。今の姿をダルくんに見せたらちょっと危ないかも。そうだね。時々本当に兄弟なのかなって思うことあるし。気持ち悪いこと言うな。あれれ、すずはさん、もしかして照れてます？照れてなんかいない。本当に？当たり前だろ。なんで私が。と言いつつ照れてるすずさんってやっぱり可愛いね。萌えだね、萌え。うるさいな。
Suzuha couldn't say anything, so she just turned away.
さてと、マユシーはそろそろアルバイトに行かなきゃ。シチューは食べていかないの？アルバイトの帰りにもう一回ここに寄るつもりなんだ。その時に食べようかと思って。じゃあサラダか何か作っておいてあげる。一緒に食べて。ありがとう、ユキさん。楽しみにしてるね。
Mayuri told Suzu one more time that she needed to keep lying down, then left for Maid Queen Nyan Square. Yuki went to the kitchen and added a few seasonings to the stew Mayuri made, then turned off the burner.
あ、そうだ、すずはさん、汗かいてるでしょ。食事の前に体拭いておきましょうか。いいって言ってるじゃないか。
Yuki wanted to do stuff like that every day, and each time Suzuha effectively refused.
シャワーは無理でもちゃんときれいにしておかなくちゃ。昨日も一昨日もやったんだからいいって。1週間や2週間くらい放っておいても死ぬわけじゃないし。1週間ってそんなのダメです、ダメです。
Yuki hurried into the shower room.
あのさ、自分でできるから。そういうこと言う人に限っていつまでもやらないんですよね。そんなことダメです。
She's so forceful. Yuki came back with a bowl filled with hot water and a towel. She could be stubborn when she got this way. Suzuha learned that well over the past 3 days. Yuki was just like the mother she remembered. She slowly and uneasily stood up, but she took off her top, trying her best not to let Yuki see her skin.
女の子同士なんだからそんなに恥ずかしがらなくても構わないだろ、別に。背中だけ私が拭いてあげますね。いい、子供じゃないんだからできる。でもちゃんと拭けないと思うし。いいってば。
Yeah. Yuki seemed a little shocked, but she quickly handed over the hot, wet towel.
ごめんなさい。触られるのが嫌な人もいますよね。あ、私こそ悪かった。大きな声出したりして。お湯テーブルの上に置いておきますから。夕飯の支度しちゃいます。
Yuki walked off, dejected. Once Suzuha saw that she was focused on finishing the cooking, she slid behind the curtains into the back part of the room. She used a towel and wash bowl to wipe herself down. She couldn't let Yuki see her body. There were scars, both old and new, all over her, and burn marks that might never heal. To her, these wounds were like medals from the vicious battle she survived, and she didn't care who saw them. But she didn't want to let the mother who'd given birth to her, or rather, would give birth to her, see them. Especially not the dozen of pale white marks around her breasts.
母さん。
She still remembered the nightmarish day. The bullets which had killed her mom had lost their power as they passed through her organs, but still managed to dig into Suzuha's skin. When they did, they were covered in her mother's blood and flesh. The scars would probably never heal completely. To her, they were her mother's grave. She shook her head to try and get the nightmare out of her mind. She took her bottoms off, too, and then wiped herself clean all the way down to her toes. She didn't put on a new pair of underwear. It was only after she finished putting on her newly cleaned clothes that she felt human again. When she came back, Yuki was putting bowls filled with stew and salad on the table. Their eyes met and an awkward silence filled the room.
できました。
Yuki broke the silence first.
ありがとう。どのくらい食べますか？いや、いいよ。それくらいは私がやる。
Suzuha put just enough stew and salad for her meal onto her own plate, and then made a plate for Yuki as well.
すみません。いや、こっちこそ食事の用意なんてさせて悪い。具合が悪い時はお互い様と言ったはずですよ。食べ終わったらちゃんと薬も飲んでくださいね。
The two sat at the sofa and filled their mouths with stew and salad. The stew had a mild, gentle flavor. Felt like something Mayuri would make.
ずいぶん上達したでしょ、まゆりちゃん。缶詰をただ温めただけとか、そういうわけじゃないんですよ。
It's so interesting because, like, this is a new art style. I don't know which artist made this, but this is definitely new. It's so funny too how you can see what's the word? The resemblance is uncanny. Like legit, it's so uncanny. Man.
大したもんだね。鈴葉さんもやってみません？教えますよ。私はいいよ。柄じゃないし。そんなことないと思いますけど。まあ、いつかね。いつかっていう人は結局最後までやらないんですよ。
That is true.
それ、さっきも似たようなこと言ってた。そうでしたっけ？
Yes, he did. And then the conversation ceased for a time. Suzuha slurped down her stew. She had terrible manners, and tried to come up with something to talk about. This time, it was Suzuha's turn to break the silence. After what she just remembered, she couldn't bear to be silent around Yuki.
さっきの歌だけどさ、あれ、なんだっけ？歌？シャワールームで、ほら。も しかして歌ってました？私恥ずかしい。下手なのに歌うの好きだからつい口ずさんじゃうんですよね。別に上手い下手なんて気にしなくていいと思うけど、何の歌だったか思い出せなくてさ。実は私もなんですよ。え？印象的なところだけ覚えてるというか、子供の頃に流行った教育番組の歌か何かだとは思うんですけど。役に立てなくてすみません。鈴葉さんはいつ頃あの歌を？私も子供の時かな。母さんがよく歌ってくれたよ。優しそうな人ですもんね、鈴葉さんのお母さん。
Conversation flowed so naturally I didn't think about how she responded. 25% of the CGs. Let's see. There you go. A second later, she realized what she said, and then she stared at her mother.
どうしました？
Oh, while I'm out here, I should check. Alright, almost at 2 hours. Okay, that's not bad.
私の母さん。どういうこと？どういうことって、おとといお見かけしまして。は？ですからおとといここを訪ねていらしたんです。そんなバカな。お母さんが来たらおかしいんですか？だって。
There was no way she could say that her mother was right in front of her. Confused, she fell silent. Yuki, for her part, must have come to some conclusion about the reason for Suzu's reaction. Started to stammer and fidget.
ごめんなさい。私何も知らなくて、もしかしてお母さんとの間に何か？いや。喧嘩をして家出してるとかそういうわけじゃ。今にして思えばなんか変ですよね。お母さんたら橋田さんには着替えや差し入れを持ってきていたのに、鈴葉さんには何も。と兄さんに着替え差し入れ。
Suzuha, come on.
はい。
You're a trained soldier. I'm a soldier. I'm a Marine. And she's over here slow in the uptake. Suzuha thought hard as she could and finally reached an answer.
そうか。
Yuki was talking about Itaru Hishida's mother. In other words, Suzuha's grandmother, who she'd never seen except in pictures. But since she told Yuki that she was Itaru's brother, it was natural that she make the wrong assumption.
どうしました？なんでもない。
If Itaru had said even a word to her about it, this wouldn't have happened. How stupid she had to give him a lecture later. While Suzuha was thinking about the talking to her dad was gonna get, Yuki had already started to sympathize with her imagined plight.
鈴葉さん、私いつでも相談に乗りますからね。何でも話してくださいね。
Oh, she sounds like she's about to cry. For some reason, her eyes are starting to well up.
ありがとう。
Suzuha didn't know how to react to this, but she felt a little embarrassed.
やっぱり優しいんだな、母さんは。
Just like she told Ataru, this place was too comfortable. She's starting to imagine that this life would continue forever. Oh, excuse me. Wow. Okay, well, let's take a second to breathe. Sorry about that. Oh man. Assigning this brief happy time beyond the horizon of the world line was supposed to be Suzuru's mission. If she didn't, this world would be destroyed. And now we're back to Okabe. Right now would be a good time to end it, but I'm gonna keep going. December 21st. Almost Christmas. We're getting closer and closer to the Christmas party. I'm excited. Anyways. As I walked into the maid cafe Maid Queen Yan Yan squared, the cat-eared maids worked there greeted me cheerfully. It was a weekday evening, so there was more open seats than usual.
Ah, 今日は前売りは？
マユシーならもうすぐ来るにゃ。あと30分くらい。
そっか。
Miura had been working here for a while now. Her main name was Mayushi Nyanyan. When she was a maid, she wore a long blonde wig and cat ears. It looked very different from her usual
誰に呼
self.
ばれたんだ？もう来てるかな？
いつもの席に。
I looked toward the back corner and saw a silhouette sitting next to the window with the sun at its back. There you go. There you go. This is AI. This is AI voice. Oh man.
あと、今日は知り合いが一緒なんだ。メイドカフェ初心者なんで、俺とダルの話が終わるまで、ちょっと相手してもらってもいいか。
にゃにゃ、お知り合い、どちら様かにゃ？
おい、ヒアジョさん、こっち。
I called Maha. She was fidgeting outside the store, apparently unwilling to come in.
オカリンが可愛い女の子を連れてるにゃ。
いや、そんなに驚かなくてもいいだろう。
しかも背の高さから見て小学生か中学生？
違う。
信じられない。フェリスというものがありながら新しい恋人、新しいロリ恋人を作るにゃんて。
Oh, ew. Do not call him a lollymancer. We're not about that. We're not about that. He's cold mother effing bars. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Bow wow. Oh, wow. I'm sick. Ferris, I thought you were better than that. Oh my gosh. Talking about lollymancers, man. Because my thing is, right, Subaru, Endo, Kabe, I'm not having it. I'm not having the lollymancer allegations on two goats, alright? I'm not having it. Because he's still good. There you go.
違うって。彼女はアメリカの大学から研究のために。
これはもう円卓会議で糾弾するしかないにゃ。
この話を聞いてくれ。
一体何の話をしているのかしら。
Ah, Ferris, you're adorable. See? Same height. almost the same exact height. Maho had finally made it inside and she was staring at me and Ferris's suspicious eyes. I got with Maho to the police to talk about the attack again. After that, we both realized we hadn't eaten, so I brought her here. Ferris stood up to her full height, gave a cute little bow, and then one of her full cat-like poses, or one of her cat-like poses.
当店ではいらっしゃいませじゃなくてお帰りなさいませというのにゃああそういうことなのねフェリスニャンニャンだにゃお嬢様お名前はヒア城真帆よヒア城というと沖縄のお嬢様かなあらよく知ってるのねいつも聞き返されるか間違えられるかのどっちかなのにしかも沖縄の名前ということまで当然だにゃフェイリスは3世代前の前世で琉球王国の神様の理想郷パイパディローマを守護する精霊だったんだにゃ
There go Ferris on the BS again. Alright. Paipati Roma, there you go. A legendary island whose name written in kanji means the island between the shining summer waves. It is said to be even further south from Haturuma Island, the southernmost occupied island of Japan. In Okinawan, Pai means south, Pati means end, and Roma means coral reef. So put that together, it means the southernmost coral reef. The Okinawan faith has always believed that beyond the sea lies a mythical utopia called Narikanai, and Paipati Roma, or Paipati Roma, yeah, Tony Romo, bro, is believed to be a variant of this. Another explanation says that geographically it could refer to Taiwan or Lucent Island. But the truth of both theories is unknown. Another island in the Yaeyama island chain, Yonaguni Island, had a belief in a legendary island called Hai Donan. This shows how deeply the Narikanai belief is embedded in this area.
はいそうあの頃フェイリスたち精霊の声はノロを通じて人々に届き王国を正しい姿へと導いていたのにゃ
Oh, sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry, give me 1 second. I know I've been pausing in between, but just something I gotta check. There you go. Sorry. Alright, anyway, so festivals and religious rituals play an important role in Okinawan life, and it's always the job of a woman to lead them. This school of thought that says that it's the woman that speaks with the gods is one found all around the world. During the time when Okinawa was still an independent kingdom, the royal government specifically designated a priestess called Noro had greater authority that the higher-ranking nobles, or greater than that. Huh? I feel like that's a typo because that doesn't make sense. Greater authority than the high-ranking nobles. Yeah, okay. The Kiko no Okimi, the great lady who hears and prospers, was second in rank only to the king, and her influence extended even into politics and judicial matters. Since Noros were an official rank of Okinawa Kingdom, there are only remnants now that the kingdom is gone. Farewell. Since the Noro were an official rank of the Okinawan Kingdom, there are only remnants now that the kingdom is gone, or a few of their descendants. Thus, it is civilian priestesses and spiritualists called Yuta that perform modern-day rituals. There you go. Sorry, butchered that badly.
ところが荒ぶる怪人たちがパイパティローマに攻め込んできて、ついにフェイリスたちはごめんなさい。この人は何を言っているの？
なんというか、秋葉で通じる特別な言語のようなものだな。
そうなの？
あまり考えると頭がパンクするぞ。
すでにパンクしそうなんだけれど。
とにかくしばらく待っててくれ。向こうに座ってる友達と話があるんだ。
I pointed to Daro, and when she saw him by the window, her eyes narrowed.
どうかした？
ずいぶん大きな人ね。
後で紹介するよ。少しは痩せるように言ってやってほしいな。
それじゃあ、マホニャン、お席へ案内するにゃ。
Another maid had just finished cleaning the table.
マホニャン？かわいいにゃん。できれば普通に呼んでもらえないかしら。これが普通だにゃん。さあ、こちらへどうぞ、マホニャン。
Maho remained dead silent as she was led to a seat near where Dara was sitting. I headed towards Dara's table too. I sat across from him and ordered some coffee from a nearby maid.
見損なったぞオカリン。リア充爆発しろ。
レイリスと同じようなこと言うなって違うんだよ。
何が違うんだ。あんな合法ロリッコ。
Why are you two like
しか
this?
もすごく可愛いのに、なんだか垢抜けなくて残念な感じがたまらないよ。オカリンのくせに生意気だ。ぬふー。
そういうこと本人に言うなよ。怒ると怖いぞ。
I glanced over at Maho, who was staring at the menu and trying her best to keep up with fares.
前に電話で話しただろ。襲われた時に一緒だったレスキネン教授の助手の。
そんなことはどうでもいいっつうの。問題はオカリンが僕を差し置いて可愛い女の子を連れ歩いているっつうことなのだぜ。
I guess,
前もすればいいだろう。デートとか。
to be fair, the lab's only ever filled with women now, so it's not like that's true, but it's also like one of them's his daughter and one of them is Mayuri. So the only one that really is like a cute girl that he could actually date is Yuki, which is his wife, but he hasn't done anything yet because he's a bot.
闇だとさらにできるようになったな、オカリン。
嫌味じゃない。ユキさんを誘ったらどうなんだ？
See?
ぐぬぬん。
まさかまだ全然アプローチしてないのか？
いいんだ。僕は魔法使いになるんだから。
おいおい、それじゃまずいだろう。
we know what a wizard is, but whatever. There's an urban legend that if a man... Oh, never mind. Different type of wizard. There's an urban legend that if a man is still a virgin past the age of 30, he becomes a wizard. It also said that further training can make him a fairy. That's crazy.
鈴葉が生まれてこなくなる。
それを言われると。
ユキさんのこと嫌いじゃないんだろ？
そりゃ綺麗な人だし、太ももとかうなじとかハーハーするけど。
やめないか変態。
変態じゃないよ。変態紳士だよ。
どっちでもいい。俺は恋愛的な意味で言ってるんだ。
Daru leaned over the table and sipped his iced tea through a straw.
そういうのよくわかんないんだよね。
って子供か。
今日のお前が言うなすれはここですか？
We stared at one another. He was right. When it came to romance, I didn't really have the right to talk.
まあいいや。そういう話をしたくて呼んだわけじゃないし。
確かに。本題に入ってくれ。
うん。実はさ、話は2つあって。
Here, Daru stopped and casually looked around. There weren't any people in the cafe, and thanks to Ferris, there was no one sitting near us. As long as we didn't yell, there was no risk of being overheard. I realized that the old me's habits were coming back. Was it because I just gone through something out of a Hollywood movie?
まず1つ目な。マユシには内緒にしてほしいんだけど、人を探してるんだよ。
マユリに内緒？
うん。
なんで？
ちょっとね。
He seemed reluctant to speak.
オカリンってさ、マユシの幼馴染だろ？マユシの友達か知り合いで、カガリって名前の子知らない？
カガリ？
Of course, I didn't know every single one of her friends, but I never heard that name.
いや、俺の知ってる限りは。
じゃあ、名前は置いといて、マユシと特別に仲の良かった女友達とかは？
そうだな。
There was a group of kids she used to play with in elementary school. Told Daru their names. Of course, he knew all her friends since high school. She was especially close to Fubuki and Kaide from her cosplay group, as well as Ferris and the other maids that made Queen Yan Yan. There was also Luca, even if he wasn't a girl.
俺が答えられるのはこの程度だ。お前が知ってることと大して変わらない。すまないな。
いや、それでも十分だ。助かった。
Daru took out a smartphone and wrote down the names of the girls I'd given him.
なんでマユリ本人に聞かないんだ？
まあ、いろいろあって。
というか、誰なんだカガリって。どうして誰がその人を？
Daru was unconsciously tapping the table. Seemed to be deciding how to best explain it.
実は僕じゃなくて、鈴葉が探してるんだよね。
鈴葉が？なんで彼女がマユリの知り合いなんか？
No, wait. Suzuha was involved.
それはつまりマユリの未来に関係あるってことか。だからマユリには言えない。
まあね。その子の名前さ、シーナ・カガリって言うんだと。
シー
うん。
ナ？マユリの親戚か何かか？
そうじゃない。いや、そうじゃないこともない。マユシの娘なんだってさ。
ああ。
He said it so naturally that I almost missed it. I see. Her daughter, huh? Her daughter. What does daughter mean again? Daughter. daughter. Mayuri's daughter.
マユリの娘。
声がでかいっつうの。
I still made words as fast as I could.
本当なのかそれ。
ただ実の子供じゃないらしい。繊細孤児だったのを養子にしたとかなんとか。
A war orphan. Could even imagine what chain of events in the future would bring that about. It sounded a lot like something Mayuri would do. Even in a worst world line, Mayuri would still know the joy of having a child. Maybe he was wrong, but that still made me feel a little better. At the same time, I felt a little worried about whether she could raise a kid.
でも
She could raise a kid. I didn't know that
変じゃ
Mayuri
ない
could.
か。なんでこの時代にマユリの娘が。
鈴葉と一緒に2036年から脱出してきたみたいなんだよ。
なんだって。
ところがさ、ミッションのために1998年の秋葉へ立ち寄って、そこではぐれちゃったって。鈴葉は必死になって探したんだけど見つからなかったらしい。
それで1998年に置いてきたのか。
探してる最中、タイムマシンが見つかりそうになったみたいで、かがりを残したままジャンプせざるを得なかったって言ってた。その後は数ヶ月単位の小さな移動を繰り返していろいろ手を尽くしたんだけど、2000年まで進んだところで燃料がギリギリになっちゃって。
で本来のミッションを果たすために一気に2010年まで飛んだっていうことか。
I finished the sentence and Daru nodded.
けど鈴葉は今に来てからもまだ諦めずにずっと探し続けてるんだよね。つうことでそれとなくマユシに聞いといてくれるかな。
俺が
10年ちょい前に自分と同じくらいの年の子が会いに来なかったかとか。
わかった。聞いてみるよ。
If I could find her, I wanted to. Dr. Na, she was the future Mayuri's daughter. And I felt a little guilty about things with Suzuha. I wanted to help if I could. Just then, the maid brought my coffee. As I drank, I looked over to Maho's seat. Ferris had barely left her alone for an
それ
instant.
じゃあこれからパンケーキをさらに美味しくする魔法をかけるにゃ。魔法？さあ、マホニャもご一緒に。世界がやばいにゃ陰謀にゃ。普通に食べさせてもらえないかしら。ここではこれが普通にゃ。ではどうぞ召し上がれにゃ。いただきます。マホニャ、垂れるにゃ。蜂蜜が垂れちゃうにゃ。
What is
あら、
what is happening?
赤ちゃんみたいだにゃ。赤ちゃん。
They looked like they were having a good time. I turned back to Daru.
一つ目の話は分かったな。で、二つ目ってのは
Oh man, that's so funny.
これオカリンに聞いていいもんか迷ったんだけど。
なんだ、水臭いな。
やっぱやめた方がいいかな。
He just mumbled to himself and didn't say anything. It was rare for Daru to hesitate like
言って
this.
みろよ。答えたくないと思ったら拒否するから。
じゃあ。
His hand went for his smartphone. Oh shoot. Okay. The guy doesn't say anything like, "Oh, don't do this, don't do this." Yeah, no, nothing. Ryan? The dog sent me something. Even though he was right in front of me. Looked at his face. He impatiently gestured for me to check the Ryan. What do you want me to look at? I'm checking. Save just in case. Because who knows? It's about my secret job, so she says.
秘密のバイトというと
They were coming off and putting it on my phone. Guess you wanted me to use it. This is something even more secret than what we just talked about. Alright. This is about my secret job, so she says. Secret job? You mean you're hacking? Yeah, basically. It's all illegal stuff though. Make online systems for manufacturers, banks, and build and admin servers. Boring things like that. Oh, and I do virus analysis and make security software. Is that a recovery? Oh, and making new encryption tech too. Seriously? So like a system engineer? Nothing formal like that. But we got a bit of a reputation. Our group gets jobs from all over the world. I call myself Dat. I think that's in robotics notes. I don't know. Here, I'll look that up. I call myself Dash. What's that short for? I can't tell you. Why? I just can't. I don't think I can help you with that. You were close to Makise Kurisu, right? Huh? What do you mean? I want some help with her. I hit a dead end with this job I'm doing. A job you're doing? What do you mean?
ごめん、やっぱやめとく。
Daru said that to me directly and was about to put away his phone.
待て待てここでやめられたら気になって夜も眠れなくなるだろう
でも
あんまり気を使うなよその方がかえって辛くなる
わかったお。
He whispered and sent me another message on Ryan. Someone brought in a laptop and a portable hard drive to us a while back. Both of them have really strong full disk encryption on them and can't be booted without a password. Of course, you can't take the hard drive out and connect it to another PC either. The client hit up a bunch of places with no luck and finally came to us. Is the encryption that strong? I heard that even full disk encryption can be broken by a pro. Not happening with this one. You know why? We were the ones who made it, baby. Huh? You guys made it? You can't deal with it yourself? I'm a believer that encryption needs to be a poison without an antidote or there's no point. So you don't know how to break the code, even though you made it. Exactly. If we can break it, then other hackers are just as good as us can break it too, right? And that's no good. Duh. I see. Don't call me a super hacker. I did it. This dude Daru. Okay. An extraordinarily talented hacker or someone who claims to be one. Also used as a threat when an argument out on an anonymous. Wow. Sorry, I just opened Twitter and saw some crazy stuff on here. You know what I mean. Anyways, yeah, what's it called? For example, my buddy is a super hacker and he'll hack you and find out your real name. From here, the term grew to refer to extremely talented hackers who clearly do not exist. Yeah, like I mean, this is just more like a threat to dogs, but it is, yeah. Otsu, short for Utsukare-sama, which means good work or way to go, net slang. But what's this got to do with Kurisu? The laptop and hard drive belong to Makise Kurisu, or the laptop and hard drive belong to Makise Kurisu. So Kurisu's belongings. I want to start directly, but stop myself. Something weird happened about the client, or something seemed weird about the client. So I hit up the PC manufacturer's user registration database. How I did that is a secret, by the way. And I found that it was registered under her name, same address too. It's definitely her. Who bought you the computer? Why would they have Kurisu's computer? Sorry, the rules say I can't tell you that. Were they Russian? Huh? No. Why Russian? Nakabachi? No, if it's not, then fine. So what do you want me to do? I want a hint, man. You know any words that Kurisu might use for her password? I can't brute force the password, so I have to do it the hard way. Try her birthday, graduation dates, stuff. Address, phone too. Not that I can imagine her picking them for her password. Also, any words commonly used in brain science or frequently used in her papers. I got all that data. Now I'm trying stuff from her private life. I felt like the grief of someone I cared about was being violated. Kind of words that I associate with Kurisu's private life anyway. Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha? My fork? Or maybe something to do with her dad. Trying to remember more about Kurisu, but when I did, I started thinking about her last moments. I quickly shut down that train of thought.
悪い。少し時間をくれないか。すぐには考えがまとまらない。
うん、了解。何か思い出したらでいいから。それに強制じゃないし、思い出したけど教えたくないならそれでいい。
ああ。
That was a good friend. That was a good friend, no comment. Oh, most of his friends are actually. I sighed and gulped down my cold coffee. We're here. Yes, we're at the Christmas party. Let's go. Oh. Yeah, I'm saving that for another stream because this Christmas party is fire. So I wanna make sure I give it my full attention and am not tired when I do it. But if I can give myself a little bit of credit, you know, longest stream so far, almost 2 hours and 30 minutes. We got past another chapter and we made a decision. We're not at the route I'm trying to get yet, but we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. Soon enough we'll be there. But yeah, anyway, so shoot, yeah, let me just end it here for now. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all had a good time. More Steins Gate streams on the way. I am planning on make a video. Not for the end of this month because that'll take, like, I'd either be rushing the video or it would be a smaller one. So I just want to take my time with this one. It's not gonna be a big one. It's definitely not gonna be a big one because like these next like couple of videos are gonna be like 10, 15 minutes at most, 20 if I'm really pushing it. But even then, they're not gonna be like 30 minutes like the Kagura Bachi and the Steins Gate video were. So, you know, just be on the lookout for that. But yeah, anyway, so until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and